Breaking news for NXL Mid Atlantic Major. This episode is brought to you by HK Army, and they are showing major love to the NXL participants by offering $20 cases of paint to anyone attending the Atlantic City event from June 20th to the 23rd. And that means any teams, regardless of sponsorship, can get level 5 exclusive tournament paint for only $20 a case, and the new pink shell yellow fill formula is on point. Houston Heat shot at all event in Texas and was one of 3 teams to go into Sunday 4-0, and HK Army is doing everything that they can to make paint more cost-effective for you in Atlantic City. All you got to do to reserve your paint is email my dog, Leopard King, Chad Yaya Boucher, at chad@hkarmy.com to let him know you want $20 cases of paint in the AC. Once again, CHAD@hkarmy.com. Email him right now. Do not wait. Reserve your paint before it's gone. This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram, @LoneWolfPB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, PTG Nation? We are back from the NXL Mid Atlantic Major, where ESPN was out there filming the event, the road to the finals, and the finals, which were between Chicago Aftershock and Red Legion. This episode is very special, as they all are. We sit down and talk with Todd Adamson. He comes on at about the 30-minute mark, so up until then, you have Tyler and myself just breaking down the event and how things went. And then we bring Todd in for a nice little segment. So without further ado, we are going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
A moment of silence. Oh man, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of PTG. We just literally got home from Atlantic City. Obviously, neither of us are happy at all. Extremely frustrated and obviously we didn't get the job done. We didn't get to the big show and win the tournament, but we had an amazing event out there in Atlantic City. Shout out to NXL for always hosting the best tournaments in the world. And Marchie, how you doing? I know you just got home too.
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I actually did change my flight, so I got home at around midnight last night. I wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. Felt a little violated. Felt like it was my time to leave Atlantic City. But you know, there's a lot of great things that came away from the weekend. The venue itself was fantastic. I do want to talk about that for a second because
it really was.
There's something really special about having asphalt everywhere in the venue because it doesn't really matter the conditions. You walk around and it's like easy to roll your bags around. It's easy to walk around, cruise around. You know, the vendors area was awesome. Really, really enjoyed that. It was a big weekend for paintball. You know, if you made it to the finals, you were going to be on ESPN, which is massive. I think a lot of the players were playing a little extra hard for that. You had some ESPN producers and executives that were, you know, on site at the location watching paintball, really excited. I met the main producer, Scott, and he was just ecstatic about the game. He was like, you know, I didn't have any idea that paintball was like this. This is amazing. This is really cool. So, you know, that's something that we've all believed would be the case, is if people really knew what it is that we do as professional paintball athletes, they would be intrigued and excited. And it appears to be the case. So, you know, I'm really excited for this moving forward. But yeah, man, tough weekend. We got to get
Scott. We got to get Scott on the show.
That would be cool. That'd be really cool for sure. Yeah. Him or even the commentator, Evan. I thought Evan For somebody that doesn't know a single thing about paintball coming into this weekend, holy shit, he did such a good job. I mean, he's a true pro, obviously.
He's a pro,
at what he does. But he like asked the right questions up there, and he said kind of the right things. There might have been a few, kind of goofy comments, but again, somebody that doesn't know the game, I was so impressed. I was like, damn, this is pretty incredible that you could come in just for a weekend and watch and be around Maddie and kind of learn the game through one weekend and commentate the way he did in the finals. So pretty incredible. I can't wait to see the final production.
I know, me too. And big love to Maddie holding it down like an anchor on the broadcast.
Maddie's the best. Yeah.
He is truly the GOAT of commentary, the voice of paintball. It was great hearing him and seeing the entire production come to life, seeing the cameras, the lights, everything that we want to see at our events, and really getting the word out that paintball is here and it's here to stay. And it's going to be something fun that people can enjoy for many years to come. So it is exciting. I think early August is what we're looking at for that air date.
Correct. Yeah, it should be early August. And that's something that as, we get more confirmation on dates and times and exactly how to view it and watch it, we'll definitely be sharing that because my understanding is we want to see around 250,000 views on that to have to be considered a success. And I think it's imperative. It's mandatory. If you got 10 TVs on within your family, turn every single one of them on, try to get those numbers up. We need everybody in the community to support this because if we reach those, then they'll be back and they'll want more action. And this is huge for paintball. I don't think people realize how big this actually is, and shout out to the comment section on our YouTube channel. We really appreciate, and we read every single one of those comments. We try to get back to all of them as well. This one I'm going to kind of respond to on air, but the comment was something along the lines of, why are we trying to focus on TV? TV is kind of ancient, and the new age, everyone kind of streams and it's different. And, maybe we're wasting our time. And while part of that is true, part of that is definitely true that, less people are watching TV these days. We all know that, but there are still an insane amount of numbers and eyes that are on channels like the Ochos and ESPN. It's more than 100x of what we get through, our normal streaming platforms within the paintball community. Mm-hmm. So while yes, certainly there's other opportunities and we should be trying to pursue, again, which Major League Paintball is doing, growing the YouTube channel. There's been a lot of free content. I think most of this event was free and streamed live, so Go Sports is really going all out to make sure that we can get this content to the masses. It's not all behind a paywall. But this is still going to bring a ton of new eyes to the game. So really it's attacking it at all fronts. And I really appreciate, what Tom Cole and the team at Major League Paintball are doing to make sure that happens.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. And we want to be on all the screens. We want all the screens, if we can get on TV and be on the socials and be everywhere, that's where we want to be. And like you said, March, there are literally millions of new eyes that will see paintball possibly for the first time in this light because of this tremendous opportunity of being on ESPN. And we need everybody to go to bat. We got to absolutely nuke this opportunity. We got to blow it out of the water. We need, like you said, every TV you got, every person please tune in, tell everyone post on socials, really get the word out there that your beloved sport of paintball is on television, on ESPN. So if you could tune in, it would mean the world to us as a community, and really, going above and beyond is what we need to do in this moment.
Yeah, absolutely, Ty. What did you think of the layout for, filming? Was it exciting? Was it fun? How'd you feel about the layout?
I particularly loved it. I like blind layout. I feel like we play a lot of blind layout, March, because everywhere we go is kind of a blind layout. We've traveled all over the country and the world playing at different fields, and they have different setups, and we have to look at it quickly and go, okay, this is how we're going to approach this. This is how we're going to move out here. And so the blind layout is definitely something that I'm used to and enjoy being and same with yourself, 7-man player playing lots of different styles of paintball. It's something that we are going to accentuate at just because of our time in the game, so I liked it. I thought the field was really fun. It was a shootout off the break. If you could get those early eliminations, you had a real advantage, obviously, with new numbers on the field. The snake side was very fun. You could get to that 50 pretty quickly, and then you would have a player typically watching over them, and they would start to play the inside. The middle was kind of end game style with that, box that they had around that big cube in the middle. And the Dorito side was lethal. If you were able to get an elimination off your side and go streaking down that side, you could really apply some crazy pressure through those Doritos.
Yeah, agreed. You said it exactly perfect. It was a shootout off the break. You would give yourself a big advantage. The only thing that would kill you is if you were getting some penalties for looking in the wrong direction. But outside of that, you could really, really pick and choose who you wanted to take off the field early, and you would have to risk in certain spots in order to get that. But you could shoot the people you wanted to shoot. That's for sure. We saw a lot of 5-on-4s, 5-on-3s, 3-on-4s. Just right after the breakout. Which did make it entertaining. It made it pretty fast. A couple teams slowed the field down, but really it was just the individual players deciding not to make moves. It wasn't because the field was actually locked down. I feel like there was so much opportunity on that layout to make moves and punch through, break down a side. It was really fast if you wanted it to be fast. So the low scoring games, I think that was just the players and teams wanting to play slow, for whatever reason. But outside of that, yeah, it was exciting. It was a fun field. You have that little cake in the back center, which sucked to play because you had to shoot, you had to shoot off the break and then basically duck down because everyone's shooting back into there. And then, so you don't have good vision. And as a back player, that's always frustrating when you don't have good vision. For me personally, that's like a big part of my game, is to be able to have vision and see, what's going on. So you wanted to get out of there kind of quick, get into probably the snake side temple, and you could have a little better vision from that spot. But yeah, it was a dynamic layout. I think Jason did a great job, for a blind layout too. Like, you don't have a weekend of practice, and there was a lot riding on this too. It's the one that's going to be filmed on ESPN. It has to be exciting. You don't have a weekend of practice, so the pros can be like, "Hey, Jason, maybe you might want to change this. This spot just slows the entire field down." So he kind of knocked it out of the park there.
Yeah, he sure did. And obviously, we got to talk about the Russian Legion, just absolutely dominant.
The Red Legion.
Yeah, Red Legion. Sorry.
The Red Russian Legion.
Yeah, they are just dominant, absolutely crushing it out there. And they're playing with this vigor, like this press and this aggression and this gunfighters mentality that is really potent when you have 5 players doing that at the same time in synchronicity, and then setting up traps together at the 50s, setting up these deep level high IQ plays together once they get into position and into these formations that we see after they're done, with that initial press. There's a lot of really high IQ play that's going on that is highly entertaining for me to watch. And I know for you, Marcelo, and so many out there that are enjoying watching paintball these days. So it was a successful Thursday where they won the remainder of the Texas event, and then they double dipped and didn't lose a game, and haven't lost a game since Las Vegas, I believe. If
correct.
I'm not mistaken.
I think our semifinal match is the last game that they lost. And they look amazing right now. They are really firing on all cylinders. It's interesting that they win the Texas event and then win the Atlantic City event, because you know how it is as well. Like, when you get hot on a certain weekend, there's a vibe, there's an aura, there's a energy amongst the team and the players. There's a confidence that is kind of in the air and within you. And if you win an event, I feel like you're more like you have a pretty good chance of winning the following one that is also that same weekend. And sure enough, they did exactly that. I mean, they played stellar all weekend long. They were incredibly aggressive. Personally, I believe their style is really fun to watch, but I also feel like it's kind of easy to play against. Now, you have to live and die by shooting off the break. If you can't shoot them off the break, you're going to really, really struggle. You let Karslev run, around the Dorito corner, all up to wherever he wants to multiple times. Because even if you did shoot him once or twice in a match, he was still going to go.
Yeah.
So you had to be able to shoot him consistently. And that's where they can get you. That's where it gets difficult, because you other teams, if you shoot a player once or twice, they're going to say, "Hey, let's go short. Let's be a little more conservative." And maybe that works for them. Personally, I think that's the safer play, or maybe the more high percentage play. But them, the Red Legion, they're like, "We're still going to go. We're going to go no matter what."
They want numbers.
Yeah, they want number. We're going to go no matter what. But me, I'm a shooter. So for me, I'd say good. I would like to play that kind of a style. That kind of a style, I feel like we can consistently have an advantage off the break. Now, if you're not hitting your shots, like I said, you're going to be in trouble. But if you are hitting your shots, it might be a different ball game. but you have to hit them consistently over and over and over and over because they're going to make you do that.
Yeah.
And this is also, we have these conversations. We had this conversation amongst our team with, getting into certain spots. Sure, there might be a player that is in position that can stop you from making a move on the other side of the field. But sometimes you just have to force it and make that player shoot you. Like force that player to connect on a difficult shot, right? Rather than saying they're looking my way, I can't go. Sometimes you just have to force it and go. Well, the Red Legion mentality is they're going to force it every single time and see how many times you can actually connect. And if you don't connect, they're going to run all over the place and they're going to ball out. And I'll tell you what, the combination of Malloy and J-Rab is so dangerous.
Yeah.
So dangerous because Malloy is just as dynamic as it gets. He's as sharp as it gets. Fundamentally, there's not, of course, there's always room for improvement, but he's at the top of the list.
The bar.
And
they call him the bar.
Yeah.
If you didn't tune into the episode, we just did an episode with him a couple episodes ago. So check out that Alexander Berdnikov.
Yeah, that was a great episode. He was really animated and pretty candid with us. It was awesome to have him on PTG.
Yeah.
And the current MVP right now. But then, having Justin behind him has changed the whole dynamic of that team. I look at that point against Damage. It's a 1-1 game, and it comes down to a 2-on-1 in Damage's favor. I think it was Keith Brown and one of the Edwards brothers. We were playing at the same time, so I just kind of caught the end of it. But Justin pulls out a 1-on-2, huge 1-on-2 point to go up 2-1. That's a huge momentum shifter. And then I don't think Damage scored again for a little bit, and it's something that the Red Legion had been missing for the last, 5-10 years is that really solid 2 or 3 that will constantly be alive and be able to close out points. And now they have that in Justin Rabikoff. And Justin is playing, he's back to playing like himself. Last year, I don't think to his standards, he played up to his standards, and maybe even the previous year, even though I personally still think he had a really great season. I think he got a lot of negative, talk that I don't think was quite deserved. I actually think he was still playing at a really high level. There was just other things going wrong. But he's fitting in really well with this team, and it's making them, scary again, which is also exciting for any competitor in the league because they're a challenge to beat now. They're kind of, they came in, Justin, that's another episode. If you guys haven't listened to the Justin Rabikoff episode we did at the start of this season, was it before Vegas or after Vegas? I forget. It was near the start of the season.
Yeah. Yep.
It was, but
right around there. I can't remember exactly, but it was right around there.
Yeah. But Justin, came on here and was really candid and open with how they wanted to play the game and how they were going to really push the envelope and try to play this aggressive style and have a really high scoring game so that they can drag opponents into the deep end. And they believe that if they play more points, that they're going to be better. So it's been fun to watch that actually unfold, but yeah, they look really good right now. They're dynamic. They're fun to watch. Aftershock also looked really good. They did take down both of us on Sunday in a pretty gritty and tough match. I feel like we made some mistakes in our game personally that as players, if we don't make those mistakes, we win that game. So, there's that. And then there were some really tough calls. I'm not afraid to say it. There were some really tough calls in our match. I feel like in your match, there were some tough calls as well. I feel like in the entire event, refs were making calls that we're not used to seeing, and it was playing on calls. And my understanding is Jason has done whatever he can. He has done whatever he can to try to eliminate refs' discretion on calls, which I like. I appreciate that, right? He likes things to be really black and white so that you don't have, that's why he got rid of like obvious and unobvious hits. I agree with that. So it's not up to a ref of like, well, he didn't know he was hit, so it's not a minor, or he did know he was hit, so it's a minor. Whereas I feel like there was inconsistencies during this event where some players were getting shot and being told to come out and taking an extra 5-6 seconds and no penalty. And then other players were being shot and maybe taking 1 or 2 seconds extra to get out, and it's a minor penalty. And I think that's a problem, because when you pull, especially on Sunday, when you pull an extra body in a game, it is a big difference maker. So you better be sure that a penalty is deserved, and it better be even across the board, because a 1 point difference in a match on Sunday is all it takes. That is all it takes in these games. The final score might be 5-2 or 4-1 or 6-3, but a 1 point momentum swing in the middle of a match is what dictates that kind of stuff. So I don't know if there was a conversation about it, but it definitely felt like the reffing was a lot more strict on certain things that it wasn't previously at this event. And I don't know if look, again, I'm all for things being strict, and I'll also be the first to say I can't stand how our team will argue things after, they're eliminated, and they're kind of, to me, that bothers the hell out of me. You won't see me doing that on the field. Now, once the point's over, that's a different story. Then if you're frustrated, go and try to argue a call. Okay. But if you get shot and you're like, no, he was hit first, this was that, blah, blah, blah. You're kind of just asking for a penalty, kind of get off the field and ask for it later. So trust me, I'm the first to be on the side of trying to trim that up. But there was just some stuff that, I mean,
I couldn't agree more. It felt a little different. It felt a little different. They gave me a major penalty in the first point of our game with Aftershock that is egregious. I can't even remember the last time I've ever I don't think I've gotten a penalty in probably a year or so. And then I just got, I don't even know what to say, man. I've been playing pro paintball for a couple of years now. I know when I have a green light on things, and I know I can feel the pressure. I feel the game. I know, when I have a green light. In that very first point, I hit a shot on a Dorito player, clean that out, check off all my inside spots. Know I have a green light to dunk on Hosky. Jump over the beam, boom, dunk on him, put my gun up. I'm jumping over the beam, running back to my pit, and I hear this ref behind me running around going, out, out, out. And I'm like, what's going on? And I look back and he's throwing a major on me. And I'm like, yo, what is happening? And it would be one thing if it was just me, but I had multiple, even my opponents, Maddie, people within the league who said, man, I'm sorry about that.
Ty, it's so easy to go watch the film. I watched that. I watched that again because I wanted to make sure. Sometimes you're in a match and you feel like things are calls are bad, and then you go back and you're watching. Oh, actually, that was the right call. And you got to own it, and that's fine. But I watched yours because you also got another one at the end of the match where I was like, I didn't see anything break off your pack or on your pack, so I wanted to go see. And that first point, I mean, there's not a single player that's looking at you. Hosky's looking your way. Nobody else is looking at you. Nobody else can see you. You jump over and you and Hosky exchange. Like it's pretty black and white there. Mm-hmm. And a major penalty gets thrown, which again is a big momentum shifter early in a match.
My brain exploded. I was like, yo, what? Hold on. Challenge flag. I'm throwing the challenge flag. Wait, we don't have one.
You know what's very interesting is you're allowed to bet on paintball now.
Yeah.
You're allowed to bet on paintball. And professional players apparently can't. I don't know if the refs have been forced to sign anything, but that was a weird one to me. That penalty that you got there, Tyler, was a very weird one. And I'm not pointing fingers saying that, a certain ref, that's a big claim to make. Okay. But I'm just saying, saying that it is interesting. And I think there's a lot of things that we need to do to make sure that the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and we have a fair game out there, because I think watching it seemed, I hate to apply attention to any ref's decision, because I do believe in human error. I just believe in that wholeheartedly. And these refs have a tough job. It was a fucking hot weekend. Excuse my language, but it was really hot all weekend. It was humid. It was difficult to be out there. I know as a player being out there, I was kind of losing focus at times. It was pretty brutal at moments. And so imagine being a ref 12 hours a day. You make mistakes. That's fine. Right. So I'm not trying to apply any sort of intention there. And what I said might've been out of pocket, but it was interesting because I saw a lot of penalties that I'm just not used to seeing. And they changed the outcome of games on Sunday, which is really frustrating. You don't want that. You want a fair game. That's all you want. That's all you want as a competitor is you want a really fair game. I want it to be equal on both sides. If you're going to be really strict on something, I'm totally fine with that. But please do it for every single player. Please do it for every single ref. Every ref has to be just as strict.
Well,
you can't have one or two pockets of a field where, they're incredibly strict and other pockets that they're not. I mean, you just can't. It has to be consistent. It has to be consistent.
It hurts on such a different level because I've applied my entire existence to this game, to this sport that I love so much. And so have you, Marcelo. I've applied everything about me to paintball, and I love that. And
Of course.
I'm open, right? And when things like this happen, man, it is really disheartening for me. It hits on a different level for me and you, I'm sure in particular, to have an opportunity like being on ESPN and accomplishing a goal like that in a sport that we love with all of our heart and that we have applied our entirety to. And then to feel like I honestly feel like a little robbed. I feel a little robbed a little bit. And that like just is resonating on a different level. And it is what it is. I'm not gonna be married to this thing and like carry it around in my duffel bag for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But I just got home. I just landed on my airplane, got in here and we're doing a show. We're talking about the amazing event that we just had. And I just feel like, man, I wish I would have had the opportunity. Maybe we get that call right. Maybe the game goes a little bit differently. Maybe I get to see my boy. Maybe I see my boy in the next round and I get to play against you and we get to have an epic showdown, and like,
then at least one of the PTG guys would be in there.
Yeah.
Again, we'll go to, so again, I watched frame by frame. You just hit the space bar. You can go frame by frame on the webcast and it has it clear as day. The major penalty they gave you, or no, it was a minor in the last point where you guys were down 1, you were about to tie it up. You were in there, Snake.
Mm-hmm.
It's inconclusive if you get shot or not. It does look like something might actually spray off your pack, but I don't understand the penalty because it hits your pack as you're pulling out a pod and the ref signals you out and you come out. You're not shooting your gun. You're not doing anything. It's within 1 second of the spray hitting your pack and the ref calling you out and you coming off the field, and they pull a penalty and pull Chad behind you when you guys owned that whole side and there was like 30 seconds left in the game. You're going to tie it up. I'm like, okay, look, if you're calling that you finished the movement of pulling your pod, if that's playing on, okay. But then it has to be even everywhere, and it's not. And again, in our game, I watched Ryan. He went to the tower. He gets shot in the loader, but the play was for him to go to the tower and then slide across a little temple. He gets shot. He literally is like in motion, slides across to the temple and immediately raises his gun. The ref behind him is just chasing him, throwing a penalty. And I'm like, how is that a penalty? If it's a penalty, then it has to always be a penalty, and then a point where we're down 1, we're trying to tie it up. I shoot Thomas Kim in the tank. He's in the temple and he like tucks in and he's, kind of hiding it in my opinion. Ref has to run in and actually pull him off and no penalty. And you're like, okay, this is why you need to be very clear in black and white with these penalties. Again, there has to be a clear definition. If you have a hit and you play for more than 3 seconds, it has to be a clear definition. It cannot be left up to the interpretation of the ref if you're intentionally trying to play on, because you can't apply intention. And look, as the stakes get higher in this game, you're going to have more and more of these conversations because it's more and more meaningful.
Yeah.
And I hate that we've already discussed penalties for 15 minutes, to be completely honest. I already hate it, but it's frustrating because I agree with you, Ty. I've devoted my entire life to this as well for an opportunity to play on ESPN. And I felt like there were some calls in that game that really alter that. And that's also not to take away from Aftershock's performance. There was a 5-on-2 that no penalties were called. We had 5, they had 2, and they beat us.
This has nothing. Like, Aftershock played their butts off, and mad love to that camp and everything they're doing.
Yeah, and we're about to have Todd Adamson on, and I can't wait because
we're gonna have the man.
Mad love to everything they're doing. Their players, they really did play phenomenal. A-Rod stepped up big time, had a phenomenal event. TK, all of them. Corey Hall played great. Like they had an amazing event. Obviously, you don't get to the finals without that. Mm-hmm. I just want, moving forward, these calls to be consistent. We do not want refs to be dictating the outcome. And you hear it in every sport. This happens in every single sport, the NFL, the NBA. You'll hear players kind of speak out on things, whether they're right or wrong. I'm not, whether they're right or wrong, it's opinions, right? And it's just the nature of it. It's kind of how it's going to go.
Well, look at any sports show. Go watch any sports show and tune in and just listen to the types of things that they go over. And obviously, we want to make sure that we have, once again, all comes back to the product, right? We want our product to be the supreme product moving forward. Paintball's picking up steam, and we got to make sure that we have everything dialed in out there on the field to really highlight players and highlight this amazing league and sport that we have.
100%, Ty. I agree. I think there's so much good happening for our sport right now. We are in such a great place that everything needs to be, again, we need to cross the T's and dot the I's because we are in a damn good direction. And, we do owe some of this to Todd Adamson and the Aftershock gang as well, because them bringing Hertz on board is such a massive thing as well. Just that alone gave us some credibility, and who knows if that played into the ESPN decision. Like, hey, we got Hertz involved, and look what we're doing. Who knows? Pretty excellent. But we're actually, I'm sending the invite to Todd right now, so we will have him in here soon. Yeah, I don't know if he knows that we're going to be. I tried telling him we're going to be recording right as he comes in, so don't say anything crazy. But we'll see. No,
and to kind of round that out, I do want to say thank you to everybody who makes these events possible. Thank you to the officials. Thank you to Jason Trosen, the commissioner, the president, Tom Cole, the ownership, everybody that makes these events come to life, because without all of you, we don't even have these opportunities. So first and foremost, thank you. And we're just excited. We're excited for this game and what's happening, and major love as well to Hertz Rental Cars for taking the time to become a part of paintball. And hopefully everybody out there is enjoying the perks of that as well. When travel to the events, get a little discount. It's been nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get the VIP parking.
Yep, that's right.
The VIP parking's pretty epic. Yeah, no, you're right. To round that out, again, we just we want to do everything we can to present this thing in the best way, which is what we've talked about for a long time. And I think we're on the right track. I can't wait to. I wonder if Todd has insight as to why they did 5 minutes in between. Did you watch the finals, Ty?
Oh yeah,
Go Sports by
I was tuned in. Yeah,
the 5 minutes was that's way too long. It's kind of crazy. It definitely changes the game fundamentally. But I loved what they were able to do with that space as far as talking about the point. I wish they would have had replays and stuff. I don't know why they didn't have replays.
Yeah, that would have been nice to kind of go over, but I don't even know. It seems as though replays might be difficult at this moment in time for some reason. I'm not sure how it all works behind the scenes with
they've done replays before, so don't tell me you can't do it again.
I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah.
I don't either.
But
I don't either.
That would definitely be a cool incorporation, to hear them talking about that last point and the intricate details of the moves and those kind of things. And I'm sure as we move forward, we'll start to see the replay come in.
Post-production for the ESPN thing, for sure they're going to have that. I'm just curious as to why they didn't have it for Go Sports. I did hear early in the event, someone said that they couldn't do replays because their replay guy wasn't there, which I don't understand. You only have one replay guy. I don't know. I was confused by that. But also we need to be petitioning to have a challenge flag as well. We did talk about that. And how do you, if you throw a challenge, when can you throw it? Because there's some points where you just can't, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to replay the point, but we got the legend in here. So enough of us rambling, enough of us.
Let him know it's live.
Let the
him
man
know.
in. He knows it's live. He's backstage right now. He hears us. There he is.
Yo, what up, T?
Big man himself.
Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Oh, come on.
There we go.
We got you.
Now we got you.
You should be a pro at this by now. Come on. You're big famous. You do these all the time.
How's it going?
Tired, buddy. Tired, but good.
Yeah. Long weekend.
Yeah. Did you just get back home pretty recently?
Just walked in the door just a little bit ago. So.
Yeah. Same with us. Yeah. Well, congratulations, Todd. Amazing weekend for you and the crew. Getting all the way to the finals. It's only been 3 events that you guys have had the team formed, so I'm sure that's got to feel amazing. Kind of talk to us about how you're feeling about everything that went down out there.
So it was a big, we went to X Factor the weekend prior to finish up the plans and practice for the Dallas layout on that Thursday, and we had a really good practice, and we really had a lot of good energy that entire weekend. It was X Factor, and Notorious jumped in a little bit, and we left. Half the guys left direct from there, straight to Atlantic City, and then the other guys came in right away on Tuesday morning to Tuesday night. So we got acclimated in Atlantic City and all its wonderful luster. And that was really important because, we've really been hustling. So with that being said, it Thursday, and we had some good games, and we fell a little short on that layout. But I felt very good making it to the top 4 for the first time, should we say, and the chemistry and the rhythm and cohesiveness of the players was farther than I had really anticipated. You know, again, being a little bit fresh and virgin, we'll say,
Yeah.
for the year, right, and the league.
Mhm.
But the layout drop.
Hey Todd, before you keep going, I want to talk to you a little bit about that, about how important that culture is. And that's what you've built is, the culture of a winning team. And that's not something that's easy to do. And there's a lot of people that are chasing that. So how have you been able to, pretty quickly cultivate that kind of a culture?
I think when I started the idea of this, and I ran it past several people just before World Cup last year, and you know, they said, that's a difficult task these days, right? It's not the same as it used to be when when I was deep in it and things were going. It's everybody's caught up, and the level of competition is higher. The availability of players, we'll call it mid-range to high-end playmakers, is not available, right? You can go and build it from scratch, or you can go and I bought a team, and I decided to start from scratch, give those guys that was on the existing buy, just like we had discussed in the previous podcast, a try with along with other people that came to the tryout. I ended up having the opportunity to put together a portion of a team that had success recently, with the Las Vegas win, right, of the Ironman. Those
Funny funny that the first time back to the finals was shocked too, was that group against the Red Legion. Same final matchup.
it So again, back during that time, I didn't know the Ironman. I didn't know Todd was coaching those guys. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky again, like I tell everybody, which I'd rather be lucky than good any day. And those things fall into place, So I had all those upper level paintball industry people saying that that's a difficult road to build. You need time. You're going to need to build that gelling cohesiveness, this, that, and the other. Um, because I didn't have a team and I didn't have a coach, right? So things, just as we discussed in prior
Sure.
episode, that it felt, I was able to get a coach that I believe in, and somebody that I'd played with and was mostly from my era of success in paintball, and understood that that mentality, to bring it to people, the younger guys of today, right? And then the team was able to come together very quickly. Everything manifested quickly. People look at me and say, "How did you do that?" That's well, I don't understand how you did it. Still to this day, right? Still very, very educated paintball personnel. We weren't going to make a Sunday the first year, right? So you're talking 5 events, 12 months. You'll be lucky if you see a Sunday, but we're wishing you the best and this, that, and the other. I said,
Hold on, Todd. Was this after your roster was finalized with your coach? They said this?
No, this was
Okay.
This was, you know what? The timing was right then and a little bit after from a couple of different.
Okay.
So I don't want to put the people on the spot.
Sure.
They know who they are, and they still can't believe it, right? So,
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. God's made it fortunate for me. Whether it's luck or whether I work hard or it's a little combination of both to put together the right people, the right personnel to accelerate the stuff. I understand the pitfalls. I coached the Killers, right, for a year, semi-pro, and I coached the Femmes for 2 years prior to the beginning of this season, and that gave me a good look at what's going on. Obviously, I wasn't really watching the pro stuff, as closely as probably I should have been, like from 21 to now, and but it made me realize that it's not it's sort of like riding a bike, but it is super competitive. And from the first event to the finishing of this event uh, last night, they are right. The player competition, the teamwork, and the 20 teams that are competing at this pro level are all caught up. There's not one specific team entity that's just crashing and just continuously consistently on top, and it's shown, right? We had the 10 that was Sunday on Vegas, the 10 on Sunday for last Thursday's Lone Star deal, to the 10 that made it this Sunday. It's there's some people penetrating, and then fall out.
Yeah, a
Penetrate,
lot of parity.
and I don't want to say that that people were lucky or people had an easier draw or people, because our draw in for the first event I thought was winnable, and we didn't. We took 15th or whatever the deal was, and we didn't do very well. We went 1-3. Yeah, there was a close 2 games out of the 3 games that we lost, but look at what happened for at this event specifically. It was extremely close. All the matches, right? Winning by 1 point has now become the norm, and the increased pressure
Mm-hmm.
the coaches on the players and those entities. Um, it's extremely tough in the whole 20, in the pro bracket, right?
Yeah. It's amazing to see. I love it.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Todd, I think if you go back to Vegas, I mean, you guys had so many close games too. You guys easily could have been 3-1 the other direction, in my opinion. You guys sometimes the score doesn't really show, do a good job of telling how the event went. So 15th place, yeah, but I don't know. I felt like it easily could have been the other direction. With this last event, I feel like you guys had a lot of gritty wins, really gritty performances. Is that something that because I've known you for a long time, I know that's part of your personality. Is that something that you have tried to get the players to lean into, or did you guys just select players that already had that?
Really, I'll attribute it to Todd, the coach, right? To instill. The reason Todd's my coach is because him and I have the same ideology. We came from the same cloth. We came from the same background, right? Like I was explaining back in
I
my day.
mean, if the listeners don't know, absolute Hall of Icon legends in the game. You know, if you need to do your research, go do your research on Todd Martinez and Todd Adamson.
Yeah. So I mean, it's I appreciate that. So with Todd understanding and coaching heat back in the day, coaching Ironman and his experience in the coaching. But he gets it right. You know, I don't micromanage him. He makes the plays and he makes the calls. Who plays everything about it. All I've ever done is just suggest, you know, let's get in it, right? You know, I feel that this game is made to be exciting, right? And we want to go. I'm getting better at trying not to use my swear words so often. So we want to go mess people up early and often, right? You know, and exciting paintball's fun, right? Shooting paintballs is fun, and shooting people with the paintballs up close is extremely fun, right? So as you saw, and I know I'll get a little ahead of what you guys, you know, how you guys want to discuss the chain of events that led us to the finals. But that you know, luckily, you know, we have this organization. I'm very vested with all the other things that I'm doing because I'm extremely all in for this sport and the industry. And with the ESPN deal coming in, um, my story of what I want to do and what we're doing, everything is falling in place to be, you know, the perfect storm, should we say. The blind layout, right? So I'm a proponent of blind layouts from the beginning. I don't like
Mhm.
2 week deal. I was a proponent to try to shrink it to 1 week. You know, I don't want. I want blind layouts. Blind layouts will make paintballers, uh, their organizations, their coaches, on the fly have to react and have to figure stuff out. Right now, this specific layout was intensively set up for uh, the ESPN event to show it um, bloody, show it exciting, right? We don't want a 0-1 game.
Yeah.
We stop that. And how do we, you know, how do you force people to engage? How do you force people to take risk and show the action of what's exciting about paintball, right?
Mhm.
You know, and for the outside person to look at it and go, oh my God, I can't understand. I see they have guns, I see they have masks, and I see how they start, but geez, they just ran and snuck around and crawled around and got 2 feet from each other, and they didn't know, and they, you know, the one shot inside, or I seen him look inside, and they might not recognize that the guy's shooting his gun inside. So the other guy said, "Oh, I hear his gun," so he just ran on top of him and blasted him in the head. and
Mhm.
and another guy ran and jumped on top of that guy and blasted him because he did it to his buddy, and now he's on their side of the field, right? That's the
Mhm.
excitement. Standing there, if you're watching it on TV, if you're watching it from space, that's the excitement of paintball, right? The action, the interaction, the trades, um, not the, you know, you can see a hopper, a barrel, and a quarter of a mask edged in, and you know, both back corners, and you know, somewhere, you know, at a 20-yard line, and another guy at a 30-yard line, crossed up, right? You know, because
Mhm.
they got to win, you know, or a point, right? So it's 1-0, and they're just going to grind them, you know. Um, so I was, again, I was extremely blessed to see the league, Jason's layout, and the blind layout just in itself. And I haven't got back because it was a roller coaster for me, all the way through. We won the 7 man. Our 10 man fell short, lost one game, and came in third in the 10 man. Our 5-man, same exact thing happened. It came in third, lost a game out of
That's That's
you know,
amazing though, that all, you have so many different teams that you have at these events. And then I know you guys are going to Europe as well, and I'm sure that's been a huge proponent for building culture and getting everybody together, traveling together, having all these different teams, and it's been fun to watch.
yeah, our girls fell short. They went 2-2, and it didn't let them make it on to the Sunday. But our shop kids did incredibly well. I think they're in the top 3 of the Division 3 X ball now, consistently, and they made Sunday again and won their quarterfinal and then lost maybe the semifinal game. So everybody's getting the juice and everybody's getting a lot of play, and we're burning through a lot of paint. We probably shot with all the teams this weekend. We probably shot close to 250 cases, maybe 300 cases at the event of the best paint in the
Wow.
world. And we attribute that to our success wholeheartedly. And if you look at the contending teams that are consistent, like I was talking with, how that margin of error for these top 20 pro teams to maintain making Sunday only, um, that margin of error, whether their equipment failed in one specific point or, a ball bounced, all the things that it takes literally to maintain that excellence to be able to win the matches to make it all the way to the finals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely. Todd, I do want to talk to you about the finals. Obviously, with ESPN filming, that's really exciting, but there were a lot of changes. The 5 minutes in between points, I actually didn't realize they were going to do that. I wanted to talk to you about what were they? Why did they need 5 minutes? What was that for?
So I'm just gonna say right here that I'm gonna just say it right off the rip, because I'm taking nothing away from Russian Legion. They by far were the best team all weekend, performing consistently at the event. They had played and practiced probably every day since Dallas. Who knows what? They live. I think they have a house in Tampa, play at Tiki's, and the word was they play every day, right? So they're chiseled. Uh, Kirill and J Rab had all the other guys, Karslev and all these guys out, building that cohesiveness of their starting 5. Malloy, I know, I saw him in the first Europe event. He played with Scalp, and he was over there doing work, right? So he's still doing his job, playing on the exact layout that was the Lone Star layout. So he's chiseling and doing his exact job for Scalp. They win the event. He's MVP of that event. He by far right now is, to me, the highest caliber player in paintball. Malloy playing obviously the snake, and he's adjustable, right? So he went inside. They would put him in the mix or hold him up, and then he'd make his way and get into the mix. But J Rab also was just lights out. I never really knew how good J Rab was, and he is excellent. He saved them in multiple points uh, throughout the event to make them all the way to the finals. And then Kirill, again, he's a little vampire, but he's in the mix, and he's very impactful, and he played his ass off as well. And whenever those things, teams had to deal with that threat on that snake side and that 50 hertz bunker on the snake side, it would allow Karslev and what's the big one's name?
Sergey.
Hey, Sergey, big one. I call him just and him and Karslev to have the opportunity to roll down the Doritos. When everybody's having to deal with this kind of fire on the
Mhm.
field. So with that being said, yes, going into the finals, final game, I was extremely happy, that we made it there, and this was a little different. I'm not taking anything away from those guys. I said open-mindedly to the league, hey, we want to, hey guys, we want to put GoPros on all your players, on their heads. And I'm like, are you nuts? In my head, I didn't say that. I left it up for it was discussed between the league at the time of the 4 teams were playing off to make the finals, right? So those 4 team owners were brought in and said, listen, we're telling you in advance and we're asking you, we would like to do this. We'd like to put GoPros on your guys. We're going to do interviews in between. We're going to do, a certain amount of time for those interviews. And there's going to be, a pause in between the points to, to play this match, right? And to get this right. We have one shot to bring this to the world, and we want to make sure we do it right. So it's not going to be a traditional, we can bang and then we have that momentum and bang again and bang again. And I was completely 100%. I was the only one, I believe, that was completely 100%. Hey, man, we should do whatever it takes for the betterment of paintball. That's what we're here for, to go out there and, go under these special circumstances to play this match, whether it be slowed interviews, this, that, and the other, technical timeouts, right, of all different things. And just so we can, make a good game and make it happen and fight, right? Let's get in the mix and make it, a real show. And that's what Aftershock does in the first place. And Red Legion plays like that all the time. And so it was a battle. It was a battled up match, right? A little inconsistent.
Uh-oh.
Well, we lost Todd, but
We lost
I'm
him.
sure he'll be back in a moment. This is a great moment for me to mention that we have a GOAT party tomorrow. PTG Squad GOAT party tomorrow. If you haven't checked out PTG World, you got to check it out. It's our Discord chat. You can go to our website and check that out at ptgpodcast.com. We're going to try and get Todd Man back here. I think we got him. There we go.
Sorry about
You're
that.
back.
I don't know. I had to put another quarter in this deal that you guys wanted. Put you guys the rest, so you don't have to interrupt me from now on out, right? So, so I was talking about going into the match and with an open mind and trying to get all players to come out of their comfortability zone, right? To have a bigger picture in mind, to understand that this is for everybody, and so let's go get it, right? Yeah, we want to win. We want to win always. And again, I'm not taking anything, and I'm not saying we did anything that would make us lose, because we would never do that in a million years. But we wanted to win, and most of that adversity was minimized, right? And the guys were accommodating to it, and it wasn't a hinder in their performance. I was talking about the field. It got a little windy, right? So this field's equal. It's flat surface, this, that, and the other. But with a 30 knot headwind, right, or a tailwind, it was a little different, right? It was blowing hard. So Red Legion got to start from their side right off the rip. We started from our side, which is wind with us, and they beat us. They beat us hands down. I think they shot LJ off the break. We didn't kill any of them, I think, off the break, and that's what we're here to do on that field, right? And we'll react immediately off those shots. You hit your shots, and our plays are designed to, hit people and minimize stress on one side, particularly of the field, or another, and work off that. And the very first play, they brought it to us, and they closed the gap quickly, so that minimized the wind advantage to our back, and they shot the shit out of us and killed us, right? And it was good, and then the second point, they beat us again, and they had the wind, and they killed 2 of us on the break, I believe, this time. And I think maybe we killed one, but I don't think we did. I think shooting into the wind, I don't think we did. I think it was 2-0. And my mind, I can remember a lot of stuff, mostly bad stuff in my life, not wins and good things, because that's a curse to me, but that's what it is. So I can't really remember how it breaks down, but everybody can watch Go Sports and or did watch it and have got exactly how it broke down to get players. But then when we got back on the other side and we're down 2-0, we changed our attitude. We changed what we wanted to do, and we put more emphasis on that Dorito side. I think we killed two on the break, and then we went right at them, and we were able to bring it to a 2-1 game, and then it switched. But if you look at the wins and losses and side, the wind side, which was our home pit side, which we started from, won, I think, most of the majority of the points in the match.
That is interesting for sure. And it definitely plays a role. I know when I was watching, I saw the wind in the background. I saw a lot of stuff blowing. I was like, whoa, that's going to make it really difficult for off the break shooting. That's a pretty big and long distance shots. And so fundamentally, when you're sharp, that's a disadvantage. Granted, both your teams are fundamentally sharp, so it's equal across the board. Then I think like moves become more important up close in personal battles. But Todd, my question about the 5 minutes in between was, do you know what exactly they were using that for? Was it just to be able to tell a story, or were they like cleaning the bunkers each time? What were they using the 5 minutes for?
No. So they were using the 5 minutes for interviews, right? So they'd go to each the winning point, I believe, each side that won every point. They would go with a whole crew, and Kara was there as the representative for the MLP, and I think she would ask questions, and then she would, then they would hit the coach with a question or two. So they took that technical, we'll call it 3 extra minutes in between the points to build that juice and get that
Got it.
information, right? So they want content, as you guys all love and live by, right? What we're doing,
Absolutely.
content, right? And that's what they need to make a 22-minute match and show for ESPN, right? And that's what they got to use to capture as much and anything and everything, whether negative or positive, everything about it, to tell the story and let those guys put it all together, and the producers, and put together a good show about our sport and the game that we love, right? So
Yeah, it was really cool to see the ESPN crew out there, chatting with Maddie. We had the lights and the cameras everywhere. It just optically looked really amazing, and is exciting to see that kind of stuff coming into the game.
yeah, and I was very happy with the guys to, again, being so new, right? And just regular human nerves of going into the finals for the first time ever as a new team, a whole new entity, new people.
Mhm.
Um, it puts a lot of stress on you, and that stress creates error, right? And how I talk about that margin of error and bringing that margin of error down, your confidence, your calmness, your belief that you're going to win, even if you get down, keeping your head up and continuously fighting straight through, right? So a point can be won on that field. I mean, Marcelo, you guys did a 22-minute point, right? I think the Russians did several extremely points. I think
22 second.
yeah, that's what I said. That's what I
22
said.
minute, you said.
I was just trying to trick you, right? So 22 seconds. Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude, we extended the match. That's a record.
Oh, we know about you guys. What you do. So no, so with all that being said, and all that starstruck, added confusion, added icing, right? Icing the kicker, right? So we get a bad point and we come right off, and those guys are cleaned up. The pit crew's fired up, and everybody's ready. The coach gives them their deal, and they're ready to get back out there and bring it right back. And you get a camera stuck in your face and say, hey, what happened there? and you just want to say, well, what the heck do you mean? You saw it. We lost 3 people on the break, right? That's so get that camera out of my face. I want to send them right back out and full send, do it right back to those guys. So
Mhm. Yeah, and that, hopefully will start to become a little bit more of the norm. And like you said, it's super important that we have the content, the media, these types of things, so we can document all these details that are so important to the game, and getting those inside perspectives from the players like that. That is going to be really cool to watch when it airs in August.
yes, 100%. And again, like I said, open-minded. Um, yeah, it's a little confusing. People would, oh, well, that hindered you, or that interrupted you, or that, that's difficult. We're not there for, yes, we're there for Aftershock and we're there to win. But once we're to that table, right, you have to step back and swallow a big pill and say, listen, win or lose, it's going to be good, right? So
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
about, you know,
Yeah.
and we'll see. We're going to blast their brains out. So anyway.
um yeah, so do you have any insight as to, because obviously ESPN producers, they were on site, they saw it firsthand, the commentator was there. Do you have any insight on, as to if they feel like they want to do it again? I believe they want to wait until it's actually released and see what the numbers are, but just curious if there's any exciting talk.
Well, like I said, I'm not involved with the league. I'm not involved with the ESPN deal. I'm just
Yeah, but you're involved.
enough to be an owner that got to get to the get to the table, right? To be involved in it. So from what I understand, that those production guys that aren't paintball people that are there, right? And the ESPN people that were there, everybody thought it was just incredible. And from what I
Yeah.
understand, uh, through just hearsay, that the footage and all the things, including the GoPro footage, the audios, the everything about it, was they caught a lot of content, and it all was very, very good, right?
That's
So,
amazing.
it's very exciting, right?
Yeah.
And answer the question is, are they going to try to do something in advance of that? No, this is the I believe the league, paid and contributed to this production, right, to be able to bring it to the table. And with that, nothing will happen, I'm sure, right, until it airs,
Sure.
till response, and hopefully we get the response that we're looking for, and everybody in paint that's involved in paintball, shares it and pushes it, and it gets out there and it grows legs, and it takes this industry and this game to another level where it's a norm on sports channels, on streaming deals, um, outside industry sponsorships come in, teams, and player endorsements, everything that we want, that we live in now, that is just 1 millionth of what it really should be and what it will be, is right. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, man, it's exciting to see. And like we were saying prior to you coming on the show, we all got to really rally around this show that they're going to put together for August, and make sure you tell your aunts, your uncles, your nephews, everybody, and turn on every TV.
Better believe it. That's a fact.
Yep. All right. We have some questions in the Discord. People are really excited. I know that you are into the community type stuff. Would you be open to joining our Discord chat? There's so many people in here that would love to chat with you and like talk paintball. I don't know if that's something that you're into.
Yeah, I really did all these, this is what we're doing here, whatever it's called, right? The I didn't know what a Discord was, right? So all my guys here, all the kids, everybody in the world made fun of me, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, but I don't necessarily go on to chat things and this, that, and the other. But yes, But to be honest, the Aftershock organization is running a little we're a little indisposed. So you waive some fees for me, maybe consideration. Maybe there's a, an senior citizen discount you could pass on to an ex old paintball player to help me out get in there.
Oh, you get all the passes. You get
I'll
all the
pay it.
passes.
I know the first one's always free. I know how you two work. It's good.
No, man, you got lifelong status at the highest level, lifelong. But we
We'll
got
see.
we got Papa Sash in here. He's from the Texas area out there at X Factor Paintball. He's wondering, Todd, after Todd Martinez, Todd Morrow, Todd Green, and yourself, who's the fifth Todd to round out the Todd Squad 5v5 team? He added Todd Green is the X Factor park manager and a straight killer in his own right.
Oh, he knows. The Todd Squad is extremely prevalent. It's sort of a secret society, but we try to, we just try to maintain under the radar a little bit. But it's definitely hard to do. It's definitely hard to do.
It's not secret anymore.
Nice. All right. My question from the Discord is from Chewbacca. He wants to know, and this is my only one, is Todd, have your expectations for Aftershock changed since Vegas? Now that the team has made the finals or semifinals in consecutive tournaments, do you already view this as a successful season, or does that require a win?
My head or gut, right? I'm extremely happy, right? We're blessed. We've got so much backing and so much great people that sacrifice a lot to just help us. I don't mean the players. I don't mean the coaches. I'm talking the staff, the pit crews, the down the line of the organization, all the way, to all our players on all the other aspects of the Aftershock brand. So, to me personally, no, I want to win, right? Yes, well, you asked me in the beginning, I told you in the beginning, well, everybody said you're not even going to make a Sunday. Look what you've done, just the Thursday outing, I got, thousands of compliments on all the social media out, out deals. And, but I want to win, I want to win. That's what I do. And that's what we're going to do. End of story.
And if that's not your goal and your desire, then it has to start right there. That's got to be where it's at all times. This is my last one from Fab. And if you're not in the Discord, head over to the website, click the Patreon link and get in here because it's popping off. He said, Todd, Marcelo, Tyler, we were discussing the optics of the live stream on PTG in the chats. Something that they noticed is how often the pits and the coaching staff is just wearing generic non-team clothes. But the average viewer might often just look at them and think that they're, not the coach or not really know what's going on. As we seek to make the sport more legitimate, how important is it to for coaches, pit crew, etc., to also be wearing the same team branded clothes with sponsors, etc.? Aftershock was a great example of doing this right, and he hopes that other teams notice. And Todd, can you speak to the importance of this for outside sponsors?
Yeah, that is, that's it right there. Exactly what he said. It is ultra crucial. And I'm going to go to the start of our season. And Jason Trozen came to me and said, "Hey, listen, I would like, the league's working on trying to dial in and really, clean up and show such professionalism in the pits. Dynasty does it very well. The Heat guys do it very well. Can we have anybody that's in your deal needs to all look sharp and look the same, right? And so that way who's what and this." And I had and I agreed with him 100%. I said, "I love that. That's what we're doing, right? We're going to take this to the next level, and that's what sponsors want, and that's what the industry needs." The problem, I went back to Jason, is you got every pro player in the world doesn't want to go. If their matches in a couple matches, they bring their stuff. You got the staging area for their next match right behind the deals, behind the pits, and they migrate in and out, right? Again, modeling, Marcelo, shout out to Vic, and your guys' way of controlling and running the pit area and your entire just area that you cordon it off, you don't let people in, whether they're trying to listen to get the juice on what you guys are really doing, to just learning the little tricks and trades of what people do. You got everybody from the Dallas Vibe female team. Those guys bring in an air conditioned cooler, right? Paintball
Mhm.
Fit, or their women, their men's pro team, they bring in that air conditioned cooler to continuously cool their paint down. I mean, it's a giant contraption on a giant cooler. It's magnificent because we're using, again, bringing that margin of error down. You want a ball to be fragile. A paintball is a perishable item, and it's temperature sensitive, right? So, and you're shooting it from 0 to 300 feet per second or harder, right, Marcelo? You want it to shoot out of the gun and not break, right, in the barrel, but you want it to break on a person. So, with that being said, there's all the tricks and trades of people that are fine tuning all their things, but yet they have to do it in their we'll call it NASCAR pit area. But you got to these guys that are just meandering in and out, in and out, in and out, that are whatever players from different teams and this and that. And yes, exactly. Everything needs to be cleaned up. They did it very well for this event. And I think that's all things that are all going to change and keep getting better and better. You want your team to look good. You want your staff to look good. Everything's a reflection of me, right? Everything that has Aftershock association with it is a reflection of me. So I go around. I went to everywhere one of my teams were playing and looked at what they were doing, looked at their staff, looked at their area, looked at the surrounding teams around them, and just analyze that. Right, I make little check off and mental notes that every night I would go back and say, hey, to this guy who was in charge of this specific area or this deal, hey, tighten this up, or hey, I saw this and noticed this and we should do this, and they would bring back information to me. We're ever changing and evolving to become the leanest, tightest, and best paintball group in the world.
Working
Love it.
hard, baby. Working
Top down.
hard. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really important for us to clean up all of those aspects. I actually sat down next to his name's Nate. He's the coach of Distortion. They're a semi-pro team on my flight back last night, and we were discussing this. We were talking about the appearance of professional paintball players, and I kind of was making this similarity to the WNBA, who currently they're getting more eyes and views than ever before. They're selling out stadiums. A lot of it has to do with some of the athletes they have. Caitlin Clark has been a huge one. Angel Reese. There's a few names that are like really big, so people want to watch. But then you had on opening day, like many of them went viral for how they dressed to opening day. They were looking super flashy. They were dialed in, and people were like, whoa, I didn't think these girls could dress up like that as well. And like you create these kind of larger than life characters, and it makes people that much more interested in you. And paintball, same thing, like professional players, there should be a professional aspect to it. You shouldn't just be in like sweatpants and some random t-shirt if you're the coach in the pits. You should be in a branded shirt or branded tech tee or polo or something of that nature, and we should be, putting effort into our appearance as well, because first impressions are really important, and appearance is the first impression. Usually people see you before they hear you, unless you're listening to this podcast on audio only. But usually they see you before they hear you. So, I think we really do need to be putting in effort into all the things. And it's so important that we are mindful of everything, our appearance, how we present this thing, how we act, all of this stuff really does matter, especially now more than ever.
listen, I learned very early at a very early age, and we were born very modest family in Kentucky, and my mom would continuously make sure that my dad was dressed as well as he could. Everything was dialed in. My brother and I dressed and dialed in. And, because she was always a proponent of, listen, it don't matter. You don't have to come from money or, or dirt floor poor. You can, no matter what your situation, you can, have good hygiene, dress appropriately, right? You don't have to wear tux, but, you don't have to stunt, right? And
Mm-hmm.
off, but you just, it's a reflection of you, right? So if you don't take care of your own self and own house, it says a lot about where you're going, or what you're.
Yeah, certainly.
Well, Todd, we can't thank you enough for everything that you're doing in paintball, man. You've really hit the ground running, and it's exciting to watch the Chicago Aftershock story. So keep up the great work, and congratulations once again to you and the guys for the successful weekend, not only with the first tournament, but obviously the second one going all the way to the finals. And we've got a little bit, I think like a month and a half, or maybe even a little bit more.
2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
2 months.
Stretch for me, not so much. I leave Saturday, right, for England and France, so I'll see Marcelo next
Yes,
week.
sir.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, Todd, absolutely love what you've done. You came back in full steam ahead. We're open about your plans and what you want to do with this team, and you've hit the ground running, and it's all coming together, which is awesome. You're backing up all the talk that you talked, and a lot of people kind of took that pretty brash and are like, who is this Todd Adamson guy coming back thinking he's just going to come in and cause this much commotion? Well, you must not know Todd Adamson, because here he is. He's following through with exactly what he said. And, there's never any doubt from our end. Hate to see it when it's against us, but love to see it from a paintball fan perspective. And Todd, really just admire, the amount of work you guys are putting in to attack this thing at all fronts.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate that from both of you guys.
Of course.
Absolutely.
See you in a couple days.
Yes.
Yeah, fellas.
And before you go, if you want to do any shout outs, now's your opportunity. I know you got a lot of people.
We don't got that kind of time.
Yeah, it's deep. Yeah. It really, the world revolves around my family and my wife, right? So my wife Tammy and Tia Adamson, they were there at the event. They got spins on multiple different deals, and they played the women's deal, and they're the backbone to the deal. If your family's all behind you and all in on what you're doing, there's the road to success is going to be much quicker than if they're not all in and on what the focus is and where everybody's going, because it takes everybody to really make that happen, right. And obviously the sponsors of the organization are essential to something this big that we're doing. GI Sports, Die Precision, Hormesis, GXG, the best pods in the business, BAS Holdings, Five Labs. There's a lot. Hertz Rent a Car.
That's a big one.
The best car company in the planet, and I'm hoping I'm not forgetting anybody else. Of course, I am Speedy at G1 Paintball. He got him some on Aftershock's 10-man this weekend.
There we go.
So he's out there grinding, and he loves it. And everybody should check out his products, because they're up and coming, next level, innovative. So everybody should take a peek. You'd think I'd have a list, right? But God,
dude, we're all.
Please, honestly, everybody just whether you like us or don't like us, follow us so you can hate us, right? First off, I like the ones. Remember, I like that chirp us. It almost fuels me more than all the love that we get. Obviously, but the love is the sweetest tasting. So everybody follow us and understand our journey. We're 6 months in. We're halfway in the year of a full year of filming for our movie release. That will be early next season, and it's going to tell the whole story of everything you guys ask. It'll have this content, every content that I did, every question that was asked, every time we did something we say we're going to do, and you're going to see the trials and tribulations of how to get there and how we accomplished what we're doing.
Absolutely love it, man. Yeah, Todd, keep up the great work, and you have safe travels on your way to Europe, and be safe and have a great time out there. And we'll chat with you soon, brother.
I appreciate it, and I will do my best to and get everybody to get on the Discord to start chiming in and answering questions and holding you two accountable for your paintball act.
Oh, right back at you, brother. Right back at you. Hey, everybody follow at Chicago Aftershock on Instagram, the socials, Facebook. Go show some love. And Todd, we will see you soon, bro. Be safe.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Peace.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the orange Patreon link in the corner, and support the show. We greatly appreciate it. We have tiers as low as $1.99 a month. That is nothing, guys, and it'll give you access to the Discord, where you get access to the players chat and get to mingle with the entire PTG community. We have tons of different pros in there. Tyler and myself are very active, and it's an amazing way to support the show. We also have amazing other tiers. If you want to be one of the best, want to be a GOAT, sign up for the GOAT tier. It's the greatest way to support us, and each month we do a private live stream show, one-on-one kind of thing, to where it's just the GOATs, and Tyler, myself, will bring in some special guests every now and then, but you get to ask us questions in real time, live on the air, and you get lots of inside juicy news that we don't share on the show. So, as always, we will see you guys very soon.